Hello, and welcome back to Shining from Within, the podcast where we explore the infinite amount of power and potential that lies within each and every one of us. I am your host, Genevieve, and tonight I have a very, very special guest with a list of accolades, and I will not spoil this one. I will let him introduce himself.
Thank you, Genevieve. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Allan. I am a real estate agent, specifically a realtor based in Zambia. I've had international experience overseas, specifically the Canadian market, Vancouver to be specific. And I work with the fastest growing, one of the best brokerages in the world. And I had the opportunity to network and work with a lot of amazing realtors out there in the world, win the most competitive market out there. So I'm here serving my country and doing what needs to be done. As they do in theirs, I'll do in mine.
Wow. I told you we had a very special guest, very patriotic one as well. So, so Allan, we have a couple of questions and I will get right into it. So, the first question is, how did you get started in real estate and what drew you to this profession as a means of personal and professional growth?
Well, it started with sales. So I went to Canada in 2015, and what could I say? I started working in 2017, and I really wanted to get a job, and I started in car sales. The
Okay.
best foundation for you to get into sales is the automotive industry because it's high volume. We deal with a lot of people, and it's more as high ticket sales, more not like customer service, but you're selling something to someone that they can use. And
Okay.
understanding that industry, I worked in financing, so people would come in to finance vehicles. I realized the people that had the most money were real estate
Mm-hmm.
agents. I mean, these
Okay.
guys are buying Porsches and Ferraris cash, and you're like, I want to know what they're selling, right? So when I
Oh,
found out
yeah.
what they're selling was real estate, I looked at
Mm-hmm.
it like, okay, this is where I want to be. So I perfected my skills when it comes to selling. And I was like, let me go to the next biggest thing, which was real estate. And my first week closed $1 million in my first week of real estate, and it
Wow.
was then God took me from there. He really took care of me. However, my mother owns palm holding properties,
Oh,
and not
okay.
to say that she did not tell me to get into real estate. It just happened.
I was
She
about to
didn't
say it
encourage
runs
me.
in the family.
Yes, it runs in the family somewhat somehow,
Okay.
the sales. But yeah,
Uh-huh.
so she
Uh-huh.
she owns Holding Properties, and that's I've literally been summoned to take the mantle to the next level.
Okay. So in a way,
Yes.
is it right for us to say you were destined to be a realtor? Or is it that circumstances it's just like it just happened? Okay, according to your explanation, you started in sales, but still,
Yes.
when you look at it, I'm sure, looking at your mom's profession or the company, I'm sure before you actually ventured into real estate full time, you might have had, times when you felt like you'd want to venture in the same. Are we to assume that is what this is?
Surprisingly, that never happened.
Really?
Yeah, it never happened. I was more into the car thing. Yeah, I'm very passionate about cars, and cars
Oh,
is
yeah.
yeah, cars is what drove me to get into car sales in the first place.
Okay.
However, although coming to Zambia, it has been a very good foundation to start from, very good platform because I deal with a lot of high net worth individuals in Zambia, and
Okay.
I'm pretty privileged to have the opportunity to expand my network, especially in
Okay.
those rooms.
Oh,
Yes,
wow.
indeed.
Okay. Okay, that one is understood. So I'll move on to the next one. In your experience, how does the dynamic nature of real estate contribute to personal development, both in terms of resilience and adaptability?
So, well, how could I start with this? Getting into real estate is not an easy feat. People need
Okay.
to understand when you get into real estate, you are a business within a business. That's the first thing you have to remember. And your business, you don't open your doors and the first thing you got to do, money just comes in. It doesn't work like that. You have to have a product that's worth selling. You have
Okay.
to market it in a way that's going to attract people. So just
Mm-hmm.
like your services, you have to be someone that people look at and be like, all right, this guy's got the competence to execute this deal. This person has the financial means to make sure that if we're going to give this guy $1 million worth of real estate, he's going to handle it properly. He's going to market it properly. And he's going to execute it properly. Competence. So there are those components towards like personal growth. So for example, um, I read books, and one of the books that really helps me in negotiation was the book by Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. I read it a
Okay.
couple of years ago. Yeah, it helped
Mm-hmm.
me in terms of understanding negotiation tactics, how to have
Okay.
best outcomes, and yeah, how to have the best outcomes for both parties, because it's only a deal when both parties are happy.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to that, you have to self-reflect. After every deal, after every situation that you go through, you self-reflect. Humility is also a
Okay.
big thing as well. Admitting when you're wrong and correcting your wrongs. It's not how many times you
Okay.
fall down, sometimes you get up. So it's a lot of you have to put pride aside. And one thing that plagues this industry, especially with development around Zambia, is greed. Don't be greedy. Instead of
Mm-hmm.
eating you can eat one big chunk today, but then you go 6 months without eating nothing because of you compromise your values because you're greedy over a transaction, which I find
Oh.
in the case here, yeah, it happens a
Mm-hmm.
lot.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, it happens a lot. On top of that, it's just changing the mindset towards a lot of people's how they view real estate. So when
Okay.
it comes to personal growth, self-reflection,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to personal development, self-reflection, humility, competence, always trying to learn how to do something better. Um, Adaptability, the market does change. Not every client is the same. You have to literally tailor your conversations and the way you look at someone's needs. Because bear in mind, it's more about the people than it is about yourself and what you have to offer.
Wow.
So it's
Okay.
taking that time to actually dive into understanding your client, both buyer and seller, and trying to mesh them in the middle. You can find that middle ground and to have a great execution. Both parties can sit back and say, we are very thankful we've had the opportunity to work with you. And that's how you get more business. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I from what your response just now, I got you mentioned humility. Which brings me like to my other question. I'm sure you mentioned greed as well. In those lines, what are some of the challenges you faced, here back home, with the real estate market, with how not everybody has the technical know-how, people might have,
Yes.
yeah, just like get into that one.
So based on my experience,
Mm-hmm.
I would say working in real estate in Zambia, because I've worked in a
Mm-hmm.
different market and traded the same services in a different market compared to here, I would
Okay.
say where we have so much untapped, knowledge and potential to make the real estate industry grow. However, and although I would say this, it's more, we have to give more power to the people because without
Okay.
people, this industry would not survive. And it's really like really struggling because everybody
Mm-hmm.
wants to take a big piece of the pie. Like property transfer taxes, 5% as of 2023, December, and
Oh,
it may be subject to increase. Yeah, it's 5%. And lawyers
wow.
take about 10% on average. It's not a
Wow.
different figure, 10%. So when you're looking and we take, let's say, depending on the agent you use, we take the least money, but yet we match the buyer and the seller together and we negotiate and we curate the deals. Where
Mm-hmm.
lawyers just write a contract, a standard last contract, and they just